All right, what's up? Uh, I'm here today to give you two builds that'll probably help you cream anything on Overkill, and it's essentially just brainless. Like there's no point in using anything other than shotguns or like throwing knives and all that shit. So I'm just gonna get into the meat and bones of it. This build is Bastion and grenades. So if you're playing a heist with hostages, be a little mindful that when you chuck nades, you probably end up killing a lot of your hostages. But you'll live and learn with that experience. What you want really is extra protection ace. This essentially just helps the whole skill tree out because you're gonna have a lot of points here anyways. Most builds are probably gonna gravitate towards having Bastion and Bounty Hunter or throwing knives and stuff like that to do stuff. Some builds have gas and dodge, but the meat and bones for what you really want to survive, like even solo, is Bastion ace. You can get away with having Bounty Hunter, but the issue there is sometimes the AI just will not pick you up. So if you get downed by a cloaker and you don't have Bastion ace, then I don't know. Let's say you're on party powder, because this has happened to me before. You're on party powder and you're in the room where you have to hack the PC that sometimes has the meth ingredient board. I've been kicked by a cloaker and had Chains just stand there and stare at me for a whole 15 seconds while I've been cuffed and just had me go into jail. And he's just done nothing. I'll never forget it. But you want extra protection ace, so that helps this whole tree out. You want armored up 1 and 2 ace. This will essentially help anyone else that joins and you, so that if you deploy an armor bag, you get 5 charges out of it. I use 3 blue plates and 1 impact plate, so you essentially get with armored up 2 ace, deploying an armor bag fully restores armor for you and any heister within 10 meters. So you can use this as like a panic button. So if you drop all your armor, you can just drop an armor bag and you'll be back to full armor in the flick of a finger. And then you can start picking away at your armor bag. So you have a lot of armor for this build to stay alive. Beast of Burden and Head Guard, those are just 2 more skills that most builds are probably going to have as well to get to Bastion. And then for grenades, you essentially just want everything in here aced except for sudden impact. You can get sudden impact ace, but I've found it just doesn't really make too much of a difference with grenades, especially when you have like Mad Bomber and you have bombs away aced already and all this stuff, because you're already getting 82.5% more damage just from the nade itself. So that's pretty much where that comes from. And then scavengers, so you don't always run out of nades. You have a chance of picking them back up when you pick up an ammo box. And then you have just your standard shotgun tree without Berserker, because running and reloading in this game and sprinting and firing is nice, but it also looks a little funky. This build doesn't have this. If you want, you can opt out and minimize some grenade skills if you truly wanted to run and gun, which doesn't truly matter. For me, I find it's a lot better to just stock up on nades and armor and then to just play the classic, just take cover when you need to. And that's about it for this build. This build will probably help you out essentially with all of the heists. Any heist this build can probably get you through. You just run the mercenary frame, you run 3 blue, 1 impact, or you can run 2 impact, 2 blue. It doesn't really matter. And then you can either run, the FSA, you can run the pump if you're really confident. You can run the M7, which I run. It doesn't exactly matter. As long as you're running a shotgun, then that's good. You can also check out the attachments if you want. So I have ranged barrel, extended mag, bolstered stock, sheath RDS, ridge cell silencer, perforated grip, angle ghost grip. And then on the Justicar, we have the big game barrel, the gorge grip, silent killer, and slate RDS. The reason I don't have the pot shot barrel on is because I find I don't one-tap snipers as much as I do with the big game barrel. I find even when I'm far away, like on shopping spree, I can be pretty much where one of the snipers are, like where you have the two that are in front of the gun store. I can be where one of those guys are and still one shot one of the snipers from there. And even on like heists that have a longer distance, like Boys in Blue, I'm like, it only takes 2 shots. Like, it's not bad. This thing is still pretty versatile. But that essentially covers this build. The next build that I can also give account for is one without Bastion. But the thing about this one is it's essentially the same setup, but it just gives you hostages. So if you want more consumables and you want like a hostage like trading sim in a way, you can use this build, which is essentially the same thing. You just don't have Bastion aced, you have sudden impact aced, and then you just take 1 point off of your shotgunner tree. I'd take off the ammo one personally because I don't spray a ton, at least when I'm running this build. When I'm running the Bastion build, it doesn't exactly matter because you have stockpile ace, but sometimes I find like not having stockpile ace can be an issue. So if you find you're running into an issue, you can either drop out scare tactics so you don't have to convert a SWAT anymore and then you at least have it, or what you can do is you can take off speed loader, which would be like nerfing part of your shotgun skills in a way, and then you're down a point really. So it's like the best thing you can do is really take off scare tactics. But that's essentially this build as well. I use scare tactics just in case I play a heist on accident with this build and I don't have any hostages or like consumables to use, because you can hold 5 consumables with the mercenary frame on this build, which is really good. So if you want like your armor repair kits, you can hold 5 of those. So this one's really good for like Houston Breakout or like First World Bank or something like that. Like, it'll work well on. And then yeah, you essentially just use the same 2 shotguns and whatever else of your choosing. I use a trip laser just so I can mark out enemies, but you can use whatever really floats your boat. Trip laser is probably the most useful one out of here because those skills are benefiting from like the ECM and microcam motion sensor, pretty much just stealth shit. But that's essentially what I've used to either carry myself on Overkill or carry other people that I play with online on Overkill. A lot of times people join my games just off of PrimeNet, because I really just host all my games solo. But a lot of the time we always, you know, pass. We don't ever fail. So yeah, if you ever need a build, there you go. Just use these 2, and if they get nerfed, well, I'll have to change the title of this video. But yeah, I hope they help.